if you're born outside of Grenada, whether before or after independence, you're a Grenadian citizen automatically. One, if you're born before, automatically on the day of independence. And if you're born after, automatically at the time of your birth. There's no application, nothing like that. If you're born outside of Grenada to Grenadian parents, similarly, whether before or after independence, you're automatically a Grenadian citizen. There's no application process. If you're married to a Grenadian citizen, anyone married to a Grenadian citizen, irrespective of how that person became a citizen, because there are no categories of citizenship, whether you're a citizen by birth or you had married somebody and got citizenship and got divorced, and then you marry another person who's non-Grenadian, that other person has a right, constitutional right. We're dealing with the Constitution now, because that's the highest law. So these are the strongest rights to be registered as a citizen once that person makes the application in the prescribed form. That's it, no fees, no character checks, no nothing. You have a constitutional right to be registered as a citizen upon application if you're married to a Grenadian, irrespective of if that person is Grenadian by birth or otherwise, okay? So those really are the constitutional citizenships, if you want to put it that way, of which there are no categories. The Citizenship Act allows for registration of citizens by naturalization, okay, which is a different thing. And so if you live here, if you're a Commonwealth citizen for 5 years or more, you can register. If you're a non-Commonwealth, 7 years or more, provided you meet the criteria, which will be good character, et cetera, et cetera. So that's how you get citizenship. Very recently, the law was amended to allow citizenship from your grandparents. That was done in 2016. So someone whose grandparent, mother, grandmother, or grandfather is a citizen, then you can apply if you meet the criteria of good character. And that's under the Citizenship Act. It's not a right, it's a discretion in the government to grant the citizenship. So you have the highest rights, which are by birth. If you're born here under the Constitution, if you're born outside to parents who are born here, you are citizens. If you're married to a Grenadian under the Constitution, you're entitled to be registered as a citizen, full stop. Then you go into the Citizenship Act, which gives you citizenship by really residing here for periods of either 5 or 7 years. Depends if you're Commonwealth or non-Commonwealth. So that's it in a nutshell.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to ask one further question, and then I'm going to open up to everyone here. So when did it all change, Mr. Bristol? When did it change when, individuals started applying and paying for application fees? When did that change?
Well, I don't know if it was a change so much as a misunderstanding or lack of proper advice as to the citizenship rights enjoyed by the categories of people born of Grenadian parentage. I think this is the issue, because the diaspora is the generally people, because of time, passage of time, have been born of Grenadian parents. And these are the ones who are concerned. So if we narrow it down to that category, when I became Attorney General in 2008, I met this problem. I corrected it, but it went back, and it got worse between, I don't know, in the intervening years to now. And ill-advised, uneducated. When I say uneducated, I mean uneducated as to the process and the law. I don't mean that in a derogatory sense. Members of the administration, the civil service, and probably even the ministers, not understanding the law and the Constitution, simply insisted on this application process. And I think that's what the problem is, because anyone properly advised would realize it's absolutely a no-no, because the Constitution is very clear.
Okay, thank you so much. So I know I'm going to open up to questions. I think Althea, you were first. I'm going to ask you to unmute and ask your question.
Hi, thanks, Tiffany. Hi, Maria. Good morning to everyone on the panel. I just wanted to say thank you for hosting this event. My question was already answered, because I was under the impression that, you know, Canadians or citizens of parents of Grenadian parents were automatically citizens by naturalization. So it was just great to hear the information now, and I definitely am interested in proceeding with that. So it'd be great if you can help me process that information. Thanks.
Yeah, it's not by naturalization, it's by virtue of the Constitution. It's you are a citizen. Full stop. There's no application, there's no one can take it away from you. You are. And you don't have to apply. Provide the authorities with your parents' birth certificate, either one, proof that you're their child, which will be your birth certificate. Take it into the passport office. They may ask you to go to the Ministry of Home Affairs, I guess, to verify the documents, and then you get your passport. The passport is evidence of citizenship, but the true evidence is the birth certificate will be the birth certificates of both you and either parent. You don't apply. You provide the evidence of your citizenship, which entitles you to a passport.
Interesting. Thank you. Althea,
Thank you.
great.
Thank you so much.
I see a couple more questions. I just wanted to follow up, Mr. Bristol, with what you mentioned about your parents' birth certificate and you matching your certificate with your parents. One thing in Grenada, for myself, for instance, a lot of parents had just their first name, is my understanding, on their birth certificate, or their birth certificate is based on their baptism, right? And then they get a name. This could be older parents. For me, I actually had to change my mom's birth certificate to add her last name, which was very fascinating. And a lot of individuals have nicknames, and so that also became an issue. So just to keep that in mind for folks when it comes to birth certificates, and how sometimes people have to actually change their parents' birth certificates, and how that, and if your parents alive, having them sign it off, or if they passed away, it can also present another problem as well. Do you have any further response to that, Mr. Bristol, just with regards to birth certificates, parents, the complications with that?
Yeah, it's very, very the proof of citizenship and proof of birth is really fraught with the sort of record keeping that pertained, years ago, because in many instances, the both parents, in many instances, were not on the birth certificate, or in many instances, recourse had been had to the baptismal certificate. I know that from my father, who he had to rely on his baptismal certificate to get his citizenship. So it is a problem in those cases, or where the particular parent's name, more so with the mom on your birth certificate, if her name is different to yours, then you have to try and join up the dots to establish that she's in fact your mom, notwithstanding that her name, as appears on the certificate, is different to yours, her surname. So that is a problem, but that's a question of evidence. You have to provide the necessary evidence to the authorities so they'll be satisfied that you are a citizen within the meaning of the relevant section of the Constitution. And that's fair enough.
Okay, thank you.
I just have to add on to that, Tiffany.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe too, because I was with Tiffany in the process of her citizenship status. You had stated, I'm trying to take notes here. You had stated, Mr. Bristol, that you just go to the passport office and present the evidence. But we went straight to the citizenship office. So maybe had we gone to the passport office, maybe she wouldn't have gone through all that, because her mother's name does appear on the birth certificate, right? Yeah. So that's very important. That's very good information that you gave, Mr. Bristol.
Yep.
A lot of people go straight to the citizenship office and not to the passport office to obtain their rights as a automatic Grenadian. So this is really good to do.
Well, I mean, I did speak with the head of immigration sometime months and months ago, maybe years ago, and he said there was a verification process in place. So they said, look, we are just immigration officers. We don't know the laws. So there should be a verification process by the appropriate ministry to say that verify your documents and said, right, that's okay. I don't know if they send a note down to the passport office and you get your passport. The passport is an incident of citizenship. In fact, it's more than an incident. It's a right consequent upon being a Grenadian citizen. So if one does go to the passport office and it's not clear cut, they may very well refer you to the appropriate ministry. I think it's the ministry of the Prime Minister that deals, is the umbrella ministry for immigration and citizenship, etc. So, and they do a verification. But certainly, and this is absolutely 100%, there is no need to apply, and you don't have to pay any money for anything, save and except when you want your passport. Okay.
Thank you. So we have a couple more questions. So Lucy Boney, you had a question?
Hello.
Hi there.
Hi. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Tiffany. Hi, Maria, everyone. Mr. Bristol, good morning.
Good day. Good day.
I noticed that you're saying parents of Grenadian parents, right? But you're not saying if their one parent is not from Grenada. What happens with that?
If either parent is born in Grenada, then you're a citizen. Either
So
mom or dad.
okay, mom
It's either.
or dad.
Yes.
Okay. What's my next question? So the procedure was what you was explaining just now. You go with another thing is some parents have a different last name. Some parents don't have their father name. They took their mom last name and stuff like that. Like in my case, my dad name not even on my birth certificate. So
Okay.
in those instances, I'm talking for other people, not me. I'm a real born Grenadian.
Yeah.
So in those instances, what happened?
Well, you'll have to
name is
try
not-
and establish that your parent who is born in Grenada, whichever one that may be, upon whose birth you're relying to claim this right, is actually your father or mother. And if the names are different, you'll have to.
You have to get
see what-
affidavits and stuff like that.
Well, they may accept, the government may accept an affidavit. They may want to see your baptismal certificate so you see evidence, because one has to be careful. You can't just be dishing out citizenship rights. Well, not dishing out rights, but confirming citizenship status on evidence that's not sufficient, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So they will require, and there are instances where affidavits have been sworn to and baptismal certificates, etc. Maybe you might have other records which show that this person was in other documents was recognized as your parent. So it's a question of putting the evidence before the ministry that is satisfactory to them.
Okay. Okay. I had a family member who born here in Canada, and she went back home to live with her mom, right? But after a while, the mom said that the government, whatever office down they had told them that it comes like if she was just living in Grenada illegal at that time. So she had to get some stuff together before, because they could have sent her back to Canada. That's like crazy.
Well, that's what they've been doing. In fact, what caused me to go to television the last time.
It was free at the time.
Yes.
That was like a couple of years ago. And do we have to pay for that now?
Pay for what? Sorry, you broke up.
Oh, so the procedure for her to get her stuff together, that we was trying to get her a Grenadian passport, and they realized that she was just there, so that they had it like she was illegal in Grenada, which was shocking because they both parents are Grenadian. So I was saying that before it was free. So do you have to pay for that now?
No,
That
it's still free.
cleared up already,
Still
but do you
free.
have to pay now?
It's still free. There's no application. And what I was saying, what caused me to go on the TV program, which caused this program to come into being with me appearing on this program, was that a client of mine, their son, who is a baby, was threatened with deportation, followed by another client whose children, twin daughters, was also told that to apply and go through these hoops. And that happened in quick succession. So I was concerned that the same threat of deportation or even deportation steps may be taken against this baby.
Right.
All right. Or this child, or these children. So that is where the problem comes in. And that is why it was necessary to go public, to let the Grenadians know their rights, and also to galvanize the government into action to make sure that this thing was nipped in the bud by this new administration, because they just got in and they have a lot on their plate, but they got to sort it out, because what can be worse about deporting a citizen of a country? I mean, you're looking for trouble, you're looking for a big constitutional case, you're looking for hundreds of thousands of dollars in damages for such an action against the government. And it is not a wise course of action to pursue. If someone says that their parents are Grenadian and just don't happen to have a Grenadian passport, it doesn't mean you're not Grenadian. Before the government takes any steps on or makes any threats to deport people like that, verify their papers, because you may very well be deporting a Grenadian, and that's not permitted.
Okay. And then the parents is living in Grenada, then the child has nowhere to go.
But it's ridiculous. And this is the whole point about it. And that is why it is such an important thing, because imagine you have a 10-year-old, 14-year-old, 5-year-old kid. Immigration reach on your doorstep one morning, pull them away from you, throw them on a plane, even up to 18, because 18 is the age of majority, even over 18. But let's take children now. Let's talk about children who can't fend for themselves. And you have this threat hanging over your head that you're illegal and you've been doing something wrong, and this trial is a criminal. It's just ridiculous. And this is where for me, the buck stops. That is what really gets me upset, that these people in authority, instead of educating themselves, finding out the correct position before they act and say things of which they have little or no knowledge, and affect people's lives and livelihoods adversely, affect families adversely. It's just it's not right. Give the people the benefit of the doubt, and let them go through the process of establishing by the evidence, as we've just spoken about, their status as a citizen of Grenada. And in any event, when people come in, somebody came in and they wanted to give them a day or 3 days or a month to fix it, in Grenada, you get the Immigration Act allows you to be stamped up to 6 months. When you go into the States, you get 6 months. You go to England, 6 months. It's almost like an international treaty, I think it is, where they're stamped for 6 months. Even though you're staying for a day, even though you're overnighting, you get a 6-month stamp. But down here, they so like to treat our own people worse than we get treated when we go to a foreign country, that they want to give you a day or 2 days. And if you don't hurry up, and if you don't come down my immigration, we could deport you. That is not on. Because they wouldn't like it to be the other way if the shoe was on the other foot and they ended up in the US or Canada or England or everywhere and were treated like that. Yeah. The law allows up to 6 months. Give them the 6 months and said, well, regularize, fine, and organize, thank you. And and be nice.
Thank you, Mr. Bristol. Thank you, Lucy, for the question. So Randy, you have a question, go ahead. Let me unmute you. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, hi. Now, I'm Grenadian citizen and I'm living in Norway. I have 3 kids. And I just want to know the procedure. Where do I have to go and what, to get a passport for my kids?
Well, I don't know where the passport office is for. If you say you're in Norway.
Yeah.
It may be London. It may be the London the London High Commission. You can go online and get the forms. And I'm not sure if the portal allows for online application, but certainly you have to get the form and the photos signed by a person who knows your children, who can say that that photo is a true likeness. You have to get that sort of thing done. But that's just for a passport. That's not for citizenship. There's no application for citizenship.
No, I'm just talking about the passport.
The passport, well, that's what you have to do. You have to get a passport form. I know they're online. And you have to get the correct type of photograph that, they're to a certain standard, and follow the instructions and get that done. But I think for you, it may be London, may be the closest place. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Randy. So I do want to do a follow-up question, Mr. Bristol. So you did mention that there's no application for citizenship, but there is, at least for Canada, we do see there's applications for citizenship for children of, Grenadian parents. Do you think that, is it something that we should ignore moving forward, or?
So I'm sorry, I don't. Canada has a requirement for Canadian citizenship?
No, for Grenadian citizenship. So the application for
who in Canada? I mean, when you say Canada, the Canadian government?
No, the Canadian Council, the Grenadian Council General in Canada has an application for Grenadian citizenship
for whom?
For
which?
Not for children of Grenadian parents.
He can't have that because it doesn't exist. That form does not exist in law. So what he has is another form for people who are born abroad and they're being registered if they're Commonwealth citizens, or naturalized if they're non-Commonwealth. Those are the only forms you could have, or ones by marriage, because it doesn't exist.
Wow.
It doesn't, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
So yeah, absolutely.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so I see some questions here in the chat box. So Nicole, do you want to speak to this, or do you want me to read this to you? Okay, so Nicole asked, I had a Grenada passport in the past. It expired 2 years ago, and I went to Grenada Consulate in Toronto. Has the process since changed?
If the person had a passport, you wanted to get a new passport?
Yeah, it expired 2 years ago, and she wants to know.
Okay, my understanding, having dealt with lots of passport applications, once you have one of the new bioreadable passports, because those are only issued once all your documents have been verified. From the time you get that one, it's just a simple renewal by submitting the form and the photos, etc., and the fee for the passport. That's my understanding, because they've already verified your status, and it's all digitally inside the passport. Okay, so and a two-year expiry passport's only 5 years, so it's probably one of the latest versions. If it's not, they would ask you for the documents again, just to, they're going through a verification process, and they're entitled to do that.
So sorry, my name is Samantha, but I'm speaking under Nicole Johnson's account. So my question was just, sorry, thanks Tiffany, it's Samantha Peters. So hey, so my question is just that I got a passport in 2010, and it goes for 10 years. So it expired in 2020. I couldn't do anything because of the pandemic, but I didn't have citizenship. So I want to get a passport, yes, but I also want to get citizenship. So I'm just trying to understand, like, what is the process? Do I apply for citizenship and then get a passport after, or do I renew my passport and that automatically gives me citizenship?
Okay. Well, you should not have a passport unless you're a citizen.
So they gave it to me with them. Oh,
Well,
so then I
mean,
guess
no, but-
maybe I am
but,
registered as a
all right, well, let me ask your status. Are you
For sure.
born in Grenada?
No, I was born in Toronto, but my mom is Grenadian.
By birth?
By birth, yes.
So that's why they gave you the passport, because you are a Grenadian. So you didn't have to apply, you see? So when you went to get the passport, or your mom went on your behalf, she would have submitted such documentation as to satisfy the authorities that you are Grenadian, and they issued with the passport.
Right.
So she would have had, in the normal course of things, to have supplied them with her birth certificate and your birth certificate, which should have her name on it as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's it. That's what you need.
Okay, so I just need to renew, essentially.
You just need to renew. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Fascinating. Okay. I see another question here from Steve. Steve, do you want to ask the question? Let me find you.
Hello, good morning. Hi, Tiffany. Good to see you.
Hi.
So Mr. Bristol provided some clarity around the process. I really appreciate that. I'm heading to Grenada in December with my father, who's Grenadian born. And my sister and I are interested in getting our Grenadian citizenships, passports. You have provided clarity. We also have teenage children, young adult children, who we are interested in also acquiring these documents for. So just wanted maybe some clarity on if the grandparents are Grenadian, does that have the same, is it the same process for the grandchildren as well, or not necessarily?
No. Well, let's start with the top. So your dad or your both parents are born in Grenada?
Yes, that's correct.
Right. And you were born outside Grenada?
In Toronto, yes.
Right. So you're going down to Grenada, ensure,
Yes.
just about for you, ensure that you have your parents' birth certificates, or either one, it doesn't matter,
Yes.
and
Yep.
your birth certificate, which shows on it that the parent you're relying on, if it's just one, was actually your parent. Okay, the same name and so forth. Okay,
Yes.
that's it. For your children who are grandchildren of Grenadian-born citizens, the law was amended in 2016 to allow applications now for grandchildren, but you have to go through an application process for citizenship. You don't have to go through an application process. You just have to establish your parentage. Okay, and you are a citizen under the Constitution, but your children are not citizens under the Constitution, but they may apply under the Citizenship Act because of their grandparents, or on the basis of their grandparents being Grenadian, to become citizens, and the government has a discretion whether to grant that citizenship. It shouldn't be refused. The kids' good character and that sort of thing is a test. Okay?
Okay, that's very
all right.
And just as a follow-up, Tiffany, if you don't mind, if I can, because what I'm hearing, Tiffany, is that you did go through a citizenship application process in Toronto at the consulate. So I'm trying to prepare while I'm here. What I'm hearing from you, Mr. Bristol, is I am a Grenadian, and so I don't need to complete an application process because it's not legal. And I just need to follow through with the passport.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Okay. And is something I can do here, or do I do that in Grenada?
I don't know what the Grenada consul's capacities and are in Toronto, but if they issue passports, I don't see a reason why they can't, and they verify your citizenship. You know, if they don't want to verify your citizenship, because think of it this way. Let's just be very practical. The Constitution says if you're born in Grenada, you're a citizen. So what do you produce? Your birth certificate.
Right.
The Constitution says if your mommy or daddy are born here, you're a citizen. So what do you produce? Your mommy or daddy's birth certificate. Right. It's the same thing. But they don't want to accept mommy and daddy, but they will accept yours if you're born here. It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So if the consulate in Toronto can issue a birth certificate to somebody born in Grenada, similarly, they should be able to issue a birth certificate to someone born outside Grenada whose parents are born in Grenada. Because both of them come under the Constitution and they're identical.
Understood.
All right?
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Good. You're welcome.
Great. Thank you. Tashini Harrison, you had a question. Do you want to ask the question?
I think my question was answered. So thank you for that clarity about that process. So I think On my end, it's just to go through the passport process here in Toronto or either in Grenada, and then firm that up going forward. So thanks for that. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Great. Any further questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead,
Ms.
Maria.
Bristol, this is a very complicated one, but you're probably going to answer it like smooth sailing. Two questions. One question is, I personally went through that process. So, back in the days, a lot of Grenadian parents went abroad to work in Trinidad, basically. And so majority of their kids was born in Grenada and maybe one or two was born in Trinidad. It just so happened that one of my parents was born in Trinidad, although doesn't know nothing about Trinidad, was brought immediately directly to Grenada. Now, if she was born, she was brought to Grenada, even though born in Trinidad, she is if I'm listening to what you're saying, she will be automatically a Grenadian citizen because her parents, both parents, are Grenadian, right?
Yes.
Right, but the process was very difficult with us because they looked at us saying that she's not a Grenadian. She has her Grenadian passport, citizenship, or whatever now, but we had to go and apply through grandparents, get my grandparents' birth. A lot of money was going back and forth, affidavits, the lawyers. It was just ridiculous. So I like to know if you can give advice to somebody else who would not have to go through what me and my sister went through, and in terms of why would my mother not be recognized as a Grenadian if she was born under two Grenadian parents, and therefore her kids should born outside of Grenada be automatically?
Let me explain what the problem is. The problem is this. If your mom was Grenadian, if your mom, for a child to get to be a citizen automatically through the parent must be born in Grenada. So your mom wasn't born in Grenada, although she's a Grenadian. Okay, so that's where it lies. So for you to become a Grenadian, you either had to live here for 5 years because you're a Commonwealth citizen, or under the new law, as it was changed in 2016, apply through your grandparents. Okay, where you'll have to get the affidavit to show that Mr. X was your granddad, was your, that sort of thing. Provide the evidence of the entitlement and the relationship. You see. So that what was done was not wrong. It's just there's a different process with respect to people who are children of Grenadian parents, but those Grenadian parents are not born in Grenada. It's only the Constitution only speaks to parents born in Grenada. Okay, so that's it.
Very good understanding.
Yeah.
If my cousins or if my family members or whatever, or say my husband who's born in Grenada would like to apply for citizenship for his kids, can he, once go to Grenada, can he apply himself, or the kids have to apply themselves? If your husband, you said? Yes. All right, so he has children, he's born in Grenada and he has children? Yes. There's no application, they are Grenadian. But how can he apply for them, or? There's no application. They are Grenadian. Oh, so automatically. Can he go when he's in Grenada, get their passport? Yeah, but they have to fill in the forms and get it done properly and have a requisite person, qualified person, sign the photographs and the form, etc. Once you go through the correct procedure for the application of the passport, and once he satisfies the authorities that he is born here and these are his children, right, according to the evidence, which is normally birth certificate, then the passport should be issued. Okay. There's no application for citizenship. Once a person, I'll just say this, once any person is born in Grenada, woman or man, their children, irrespective of where if they're born outside of Grenada, are automatically citizens. I think what a lot of people is getting tied up to is the fact that the paperwork of citizenship, besides just having the passport, they'd probably also want the citizenship document that they are a citizen. Well, there's no document. Okay. I mean, there's no document. Okay. Okay. Now, a passport is evidence of citizenship because a passport can only properly be held by a citizen. Okay. Properly. And as I said, it's a right to have a passport if you're a citizen. But so if one has a passport, it says citizen, it says Grenadian. Okay, so that's your evidence that you carry around with you. Right. But to get it, one has to produce the birth certificates. Okay.
or other evidence. If the birth certificates have different names, you'll have to, fill in those gaps.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you so much. That's really good.
So I see 2 more questions, and just to follow up, I have a citizenship paper document that I was very happy to hold up. And so that's interesting that there
But read it and see what it says. It says registered as a citizen.
I'm gonna go and get it.
Read
soon.
it.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
but
go.
you're not.
I'm gonna go check it soon. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So Roland first, and then Lucy. Roland, go ahead.
Hi, thanks everyone. Thanks so much for putting this together. This has been extremely informative for me, very helpful. So my father was born in Grenada. So that makes me Grenadian. My wife, would she be Grenadian married to me, or would we need to apply for her?
You need to apply under Section 95 of the Constitution. Hold on. Persons married to citizen of Grenada, 98. Any person who's married to a citizen of Grenada is entitled to be registered as a citizen upon application. So it's an entitlement under the Constitution for your wife to become a citizen. All right.
Okay.
Again, so you produce your citizenship document. Well, you won't have a document, your proof because of your through your dad, and then you prove your marriage to your wife, and she makes the application supported by those documents. There should be no fees or anything. There should be. Okay. There's no prerequisite for good character or anything like that on bank statements because it's a constitutional right. Okay. There's no discretion. It cannot be refused once you establish the relationship. Okay.
That's great. Thank you very much.
And your wife should be registered as a citizen pursuant to her that right under the Constitution. So she will get a certificate of registration.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Making an application. All right.
Thank you, Roland. So just to follow up, you're absolutely right. It is a certificate
Okay.
of registration.
All right. It says Section 5 and 6. I'm going to read you Section 5 and 6. I have the
Even though my mom is Grenadian.
Well, Section 5 says registration of Commonwealth citizens, Republic of Ireland, and husbands and wives of citizens. Section 5 says, upon application made to the minister in the prescribed manner, the minister may cause a person of full age and capacity who's a Commonwealth citizen to be registered if the minister is satisfied that the person's of good character, you have adequate knowledge, you resided in Grenada for so many years, etc., etc. The Constitution doesn't speak to that.
Yeah,
the
you're right.
Constitution speaks to you being a citizen. There's no residence requirement or anything. It says you are at birth. So that form, that thing they gave you.
You're absolutely right, because I wasn't living in Grenada. It did say that a British protected person or an alien must take an oath of allegiance before being registered. I mean, it's funny because I did ask Maria, how come I didn't take an oath or anything? Because I didn't take anything. And they needed my family members' nationality, but they didn't put it here now that I think about it. Oh no, actually they did, Grenada and St. Lucia. Okay. Yeah, so fascinating. Okay, interesting. Lucy Boney, go ahead. Let me unmute you. And just FYI, it's 11:54. So we just have maybe 2 more questions and then we'll end it. Thank you guys. Go ahead.
All right. Concerning the, I remember somebody asked about the citizenship, like what you have to show or whatever. I think like, well, Maria, I'm talking to Maria. When you get everything, you just make sure you get everything that Grenada have to prove that you're a citizen, your ID card, every voter's, everything, just get everything one time while you're in Grenada, or if you can do it, right? That's a good idea from me. And another thing is most of us have more than one name, right? And my experience here, I go by Hazelbone in Grenada. and I came to Canada, and then I used Lucy Boney. But so when I was applying for my citizenship now, they said that's not you because my stuff have Lucy, and they said Lucy Boney and Hazel Boney is two different people. So I had to scramble, send for my birth paper home. And then I remember I had my Grenada ID from back in the days with both name on it. And if I didn't have that, my citizenship would be canceled. So this is just an advice for people listening. Make sure all your names is right on the papers, because that's going to cause a big issue, big issue. What was my next question? So my son is a Jamaican dad, and I'm Grenadian. So how many citizenship can you have? Because he in his head he's Canadian.
Okay. Are you born in Grenada, ma'am?
I born in Grenada. His dad
Okay,
is
so your son is
Jamaican, born
Grenadian,
in Canada.
and he would be Jamaican by virtue of his birth in Jamaica, and he's Canadian by naturalization in Canada.
So can he carry 3 passports? Can he?
Well, I don't know if you can see my jacket, but I have 3 flags. I'm missing one. I have 4 passports.
Okay.
Because I'm citizen of 4 Caribbean countries by birth, by naturalization or registration, etc. Through my dad by descent under the Constitution of St. Lucia, for example. And once these countries don't prohibit it, I don't know the laws of Canada and I don't know the laws of Jamaica. But I certainly know that in Grenada, there's no prohibition against holding more than 1 citizenship. So from a Grenada perspective, I can only advise on Grenada law. I'm not qualified to advise on law other than Grenada, or certainly not in Jamaica and Canada, that there's nothing illegal about having multiple citizenships under the law of Grenada.
For Canada, you can have multiple citizenships as well. So
okay, so there we go. Yeah. And probably Jamaica is the same.
Yeah.
Okay. And then going to look for my birth paper. Then I'm growing up all my life calling my mom a different name, and go to the office. They said your mom is not here. So I'm like, what? So the next thing is you got to make sure you have the right name for your mom, because she was carrying her second name on papers. So I almost thought I was a ghost.
Yeah, but that's been a problem in these islands where the record keeping is less than satisfactory, and it's worse where you have a single parent situation, you know. So that is something for anybody going forward, you know. Please make sure the right things are done at birth, you know.
Yeah, because I was arguing, that's my mom's name. What do you mean she's not in the registry? Then I realized, I remember she have a second name. So I tried that and then they got it. See?
Yes. Good. Good. Well, I hope you got it sorted out.
So we have to be careful, yeah.
Thank you, Lucy. Okay, any further questions before we end this conversation? And it's been a great one. Steve, did you have, no? Okay, any further questions? Anyone else? Just checking. No, it looks like we've gotten a lot of information from Mr. Bristol, a lot of fascinating information. You know, this just makes me feel like, you know, I don't know. It's very—
Claim your money back.
Well, I mean, I understand. I'm hearing about so many individuals, especially one who is trying to get like $100,000 back that they paid for recently.
100?
Yeah, I guess they got a passport through somebody. I don't know, but I don't even know if that's something that's possible for this new government, if we were able to even ask for our money back. Is that something we can actually do?
Well, but why not? It was taken and demanded illegally and unconstitutionally. Why not? You know, it may take a long time, but you know, the new government has shown an interest in doing things properly. And I must say, and I want to put this on the record, that the current Attorney General did indicate to me that she would sort out this issue. So it's not something that the government is averse to doing. So take heart that it would, if not already, receive attention. But as to people who spent lots of money in the past, write a nice letter and say, listen, this is what we were forced to do, and we should be reimbursed. Simple as that.
Lucy, is your hand up from before, or is this a new question? Okay. All right. Okay. Well, thank you so much again, Mr. Bristol, for your time. I can see everyone saying this is very informative. For myself as well, and Maria, we're very, very amazed to hear this information. And again, this is an information session for Grenadians across the diaspora. It was lovely to know that someone from Norway was also on this call. And I hope that you've also enjoyed this conversation, Mr. Bristol. We do appreciate you bringing this up in the media. And so many of us are hearing about it and learning more. I do see that you have something else that you want to say.
Me, I would like to exercise my citizenship right to go to Grandans Beach because it's a lovely sunny day.
Yes, you're very lucky. Please enjoy it. So again, on behalf of Grenada Global Services, everyone, thank you again for participating and being part of this conversation. We do intend to have another information session on starting a business in Grenada in January. So please look out for that for anyone that's interested. And please, go to our website for our services list, GrenadaGlobalServices.com, and also Instagram and Facebook. We're also there under our name. Thank you again.
And also, I think we're going to put on our website all the information on Mr. Bristol, because sometimes when people come off the call, they remember, oh, I want to ask him this, I want to ask him that. So, Mr. Bristol, is that okay that we give out your information? So
well, it's public. It's on my website is up. But the beauty about what your organization is doing, and it's the first time I've heard of your organization, is not just limited to questions such as those under discussion, but all aspects, because we have a huge Grenadian diaspora, and they got, everyone's got property here. And what I see is that advantage is being taken of the diaspora in managing their properties, squatting on their properties, stealing their properties, etc., etc., etc. And your organization could help to alleviate some of that and mitigate some of those issues, So that's really great.
Thank you very much.
That's exactly our intentions, to do that. There's too many people that we find, and they're hardworking people, and they can't find the time to say, okay, I'm going to go to Grenada for 6-7 months. They're working to build up a retirement home or our vacation home in Grenada. So they need someone to advocate for them, because too much time they're getting ripped off from family, friends, builders, doesn't matter what it is. So that's why we're here.
It's a big problem. The diaspora, in my experience in my profession, always have serious problems when it comes to property.
Oh, yeah.
And under some current laws, you may find that the property, when you come back, someone's stolen it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another big issue.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can discuss at some point if you want.
Yes. There's people sending money back, and they come back and they find out there's no home. There's just a piece of dirt. People have had heart attacks over it. It's very serious.
I lose property, and I live in Grenada.
Oh, wow.
Put it that way. Because if you have property, you're not going to be visiting every second and whatever. And then you see something, anybody's squatting on it, and they want to steal your property. And that's a big problem in Grenada. Property theft in Grenada is rampant.
Mm-hmm.
Is the diaspora office still open?
Pardon?
The diaspora office, is it still open in Grenada?
I think they're in a process of, the new government coming in, they're in a process of doing a lot of updated things. I think one of the updated is the diaspora office. I'm not sure if that spot has been filled yet, but they were renewing it. Yeah.
Oh, good. Because I have an issue going on too myself, with people being dishonest and I'm being scammed.
Right. Okay. So we're gonna put up on a website, and Mr. Bristol's website, on our website, Mr. Bristol's information on his website. So then you guys can always contact him. Lucy, I know you go down to Grenada several times throughout the year, as well as I do. So we will put it up so then people can contact him for any questions or to hire him as the services.
Okay, great.
And just so you know, we are recording this, so we will post this on YouTube and share it for folks that have missed this. So any of their questions might be answered. And just one final question here from Mary she said, I was in Grenada and I paid $100 for registration for citizenship for my daughter. Can I be reimbursed? Mary is asking.
I would say you're entitled to be reimbursed. Whether you get it back or not is another matter. But you're certainly entitled. So you're well within your rights to ask the question or make the request.
Yes.
Great. Okay, great. Thank you everyone again. We do have your email addresses as well, and have a lovely time, Mr. Bristol, on Grenadians Beach. Enjoy it for all of us.
All the
I'm
best.
coming.
Thank you very much.
I'll come and join you.
Thank you,
Cheerio.
everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye.